Welcome to the YC&YOU podcast. Join us each week for engaging conversations with campus leaders, students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community members. From academics to athletics, campus life, and beyond, we cover it all. Have someone you want to hear from? Let us know. Let's explore the world of Yavapai College together.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the YC&YOU podcast. I'm Cadu Medina, your host for today's episode, and I'm here with Jason Ebersole. Welcome, Jason. Can you please give us a little introduction and tell us your role here at Yavapai College?
Well, thank you for having me this morning. I am the Dean of Health Sciences and Public Services, and a lot of people immediately wonder, what does that entail?
Yes.
So on the health sciences side, nursing, allied health, radiology, health, physical education, and recreation. And on the public services side, emergency medical services, fire science, administration of justice, paralegal studies, and the Northern Arizona Regional Training Academy, or the Police Academy for short. And as the Dean of Health Sciences and Public Services, I report to Dr. Mary Lou Mercado, who's the Vice President of Workforce Development and Health Sciences. And my team in nursing, I have the Associate Dean of Nursing, which is Dr. Barbara Durham. In Allied Health, my director is Ashley Picard. In Radiology, my director is Tracy Rogers. In HPER, my director is Paula Tomitz. In EMS, my director is Alex Lewis. In Fire Science, my director is Robert Borker. In Administration of Justice and NARDA, my faculty program director is Gerald Monahan. And in Paralegal Studies and Legal Paraprofessional, my director is faculty program director is Dr. Tiffany Cragness.
That is awesome, Jason. That's it.
Yeah.
It sounds like the credits from a movie. You just got to roll the credits.
Yep.
Here's Jason for you. I love it, man. I know you are, the head of a huge and very important division here for Yavapai College. We'll get to talk more about this a little bit more. But before we talk to what you're doing now, tell us a bit about your background and what led you to your current role here at Yavapai College.
Yeah, my background started out in the military. I'm an Air Force veteran, and when I got out of the Air Force, my wife was instrumental in getting me to Yavapai College because she had started here when Yavapai College, at that time, under the Dean of Nursing and Allied Health, was having a pharmacy technician program. And so she was teaching here and making a transition from pharmacy and wanting to go to nursing school. And they said, well, we need somebody in allied health because they were starting the allied health to ramp up allied health more. And my wife said, oh, my husband can do that. Nice. And next thing I know, I'm having interviews with the administration and the dean. And that was almost 16 years ago.
Wow.
And so I've been with Yavapai College. This January, I'll celebrate my 16th year. And
what did you do in the Air Force? What was your main assignment there? Were you medical? Were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I started out in the Air Force, I was attached to Special Operations Command and did a lot of search and rescue and basically paramedicine, and that's my discipline in emergency medicine is at the level of a paramedic. But I also went on past that to get degrees in health care administration and running facilities and units within facilities. And so I transitioned due to injury out to the Air Education and Training Command and did a lot of teaching as well when I was in the Air Force.
Right.
After I got out, I used my benefits from the military to go on and get advanced degrees in molecular medicine and biomedical science. So when I was asked to teach at Yavapai College, I got to teach in allied health, EMS, and biology. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Very cool. How many years in the Air Force is that?
10 years total between all of my service time. And then after I got out of the Air Force, I stayed on with the United States Air Force Auxiliary, which is the Civil Air Patrol. And within the last, 5 years or so, when my son was getting heavily involved in the cadet program, they pulled me back into the deputy commander for the cadet program of the Prescott Composite Squadron. And then in August of this year, I took over as the commander of the Civil Air Patrol Prescott Squadron.
My goodness, man.
Yeah.
Wow. That on top of everything else that you do here for Yavapai College and have been doing for the past 16 years. That's incredible.
Yep.
That's quite a curriculum. So with all that, and you're like deep in the sciences too. This is really cool. I didn't know that. So what does a typical day look like for you here at Yavapai College, and what's your favorite part of that routine? You have so many departments that you oversee and people that you collaborate and work with. How does a day in your shoes look like?
Yeah. Every day is different. You wake up and you have it kind of mapped out from the night before. When you leave, you're like, this is what I'm doing tomorrow. This is what I got on my schedule. And you have to pivot fast and do what needs to be done when things come up. But the best thing that I get to do is interact with the students and do my rounding and check in on the faculty and the staff and the students and touch base with my directors and get the pulse of what's going on and staying in that. And that's the fun part, not being in the office, but being out and about and seeing how things are going.
How many campus are you usually kind of bouncing from? All three at this point?
Well, yeah, it just depends on the day or the week. But my two primary locations would be the main campus here in Prescott, and then the Prescott Valley Center. But I do go over to Verde because we have nursing, allied health, EMS also over on the Verde side. And then we have a large under Dr. Mercado's divisions, we have a big footprint with the MCTED and VACT. And so sometimes I'm out at CTEC meeting with the MICTED and that. So it just depends on the day, but mostly I'm between Prescott and Prescott Valley.
That's impressive. Well, can you tell us about a project or initiative that you're currently working on that excites you the most? I mean, there's many, I'm sure, but pick one out here that you want to bring to the surface. What's really kind of getting you going this morning?
Well, the EMS department, back in September of this year was honored to receive the National Association of Emergency Medical Technicians Authorized Training Center status from Susan Bailey, who's the president of the NAEMT. And so what does that mean? That means that we now, as a training center under the NAEMT, are approved to offer courses that in the past we had to bring outside agencies in to teach. So in our paramedic program, we offer the pre-hospital trauma and life support initial course and the refresher course. And now, as those are housed with the NAEMT, we are able to offer those to our students with our own faculty and staff that have achieved the status of being training instructors under the NAEMT. And our first, what we call the PHTLS, Pre-Hospital Trauma Life Support classes, will be held on the Verde campus in January, on January 6th and 7th. The class size is limited to 12 students. Cost is $150 per student. And our agency partners in fire and ambulance are able to come and attend if they want to recertify or certify in these classes. So not only will we be offering these classes in the curriculum to our paramedic students and they'll graduate with that certification, we can now offer these classes to our outside agency partners. Future course development, advanced medical life support, tactical emergency casualty care, tactical combat casualty care, in what will be our advanced paramedic certificate that has received HLC approval, and we will be putting through curriculum. Yeah. So that's the really ongoing project. Yeah.
How exclusive and special is that? Like getting that certification, being a community college from a small rural community like Prescott, the Yavapai County. How special is that? Just give us an understanding. Like who else holds this kind of certification or privilege to teach and certify EMT personnel like this?
Well, I would say specifically to the NAEMT part of your question, I would say Yavapai College's EMS program has achieved recognition through a comprehensive application process and a review process. And this approval reflects the program's commitment to high quality emergency medical education. And it shows our dedication and demonstrated excellence in what we provide as educational resources and our instructors' capabilities. And so how many people have this designation in the state? I can't really speak to an exact number because people lose their certification or gain their certification or back and forth. But to have a national organization see us in Prescott is huge, and it speaks volumes to the team in the EMS department for that. Our program, our medical director, Dr. Christopher Lampy from Dignity YRMC, just recently spoke about how excellent our program is at the paramedic graduation for class 17 last week on Thursday, December 12th. And anybody that heard that, that's it. That's what we want the community to know is that, it's being, our students are being seen. So,
this is a good segue into my next question. I was going to ask you here to talk to me about some common misconceptions about community colleges, that people may still have, and something about Yavapai College that you believe more people should know or appreciate. Like when it comes to these certifications and education that can really advance your career, that can really kind of push you through, I think there might be still that stigma that community colleges are just one step into that direction. They're not taking you all the way to the end, all the way to the certification, the accreditation that you need to be able to perform and to, really get jobs that demand that qualification. Is this a misconception? Because it sounds, for example, like in this, the National Association EMT certification here, sounds like we're taking them all the way through. Like we have all they need to be a qualified professional.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Obviously, there's the side of a community college where people will come and get started and transfer. But one of the things that I love about Yavapai College and having been in the community for 18 years, the level of education, being an alumni from this institution as well. I have an associate's degree from Yavapai College, where I came back and I did the Associates of Applied Science and Biological Sciences, because I wanted to refresh my biology and do those kinds of things, because I see the caliber of instructors we have and the rigor of the courses and the valuable workforce training that this college provides. It's huge. And the biggest thing is that I think that I would like to say about Yavapai College is that we don't do programs that we think might be fun to teach, that students don't get anything out of. Mm-hmm. We are very much on the pulse of what our agency partners need, what the community needs, and it speaks to our vision. And workforce is the charge of a community college, and listening to your agency partners and producing high caliber, completely qualified individuals that can immediately jump into that workforce and fill those gaps and provide for their community and stay in the community is huge. And that's what Yavapai College does.
That will effectively create economic impact in this community, right? So it's not just partly training or initially training, but completely training, to use your word, complete education for these people. That's incredible. Yep. Can you share an example of a staff, a faculty, or student story that recently has impacted you, that you feel like, okay, that, exemplifies what I'm talking about here?
Well, just recently, not a specific one individual, but being at the nursing pinning on Friday, December 13th was huge, because we got to see our first cohort of BSN students walk across the stage and get pinned. And that is a huge milestone for YC. Having had my wife personally be here, like I said before, teaching, but then wanting to transition from pharmacy into nursing and do more direct patient care. When she graduated from Yavapai College and she had her RN and everything, but she wanted to get her BSN. She had to go online, and she chose GCU. But for the fact that we have now the RN to BSN degree, where students our bachelor's degree in a bachelor's of science in nursing, that's huge, because the students can either concurrently. There was a half dozen students that stood up at that graduation that were graduating with their associates of applied science in nursing that needed to go sit for their NCLEX, that were concurrently taking their bachelor's of science in nursing. And we had 19 complete their bachelor's of science in nursing, and we had 6 of them that were able to attend our graduation ceremony, that walked across the stage. And that was huge for me to see.
I bet. I heard there were some cheers and some tears and some excitement in the room. It was just something to see, huh?
Yeah, and
it was our first class, right?
Yeah, it's our first class, and it speaks volumes to all the work that Dr. Mercado did, and Dr. Durham, and the nursing team with getting the RN to BSN up and running, and having this first class, it's great. That was the inspiring moment for me recently, that I would speak to, not one specific thing, or person or faculty, but a collective the whole group.
Story. Yeah. That is incredible. Yeah. Very cool. Well, Jason, thank you so much. This conversation, I've learned so much about you too. I don't think I knew the depth of your knowledge and how much you're involved with and all that wonderful. Is there anything else that we left out? Because I know, we're not limited to our conversations here. I want to know more. What else did we leave out of this?
Well, I would just finish up with a couple of plugs. One would be that that we, in addition to there's all levels, there's pathways for nursing, right? And so we have a robust CNA program, but recently we were able to start serving students in the practical nursing role, the LPN role. And our first cohort of students started this August, 20 students. And we're getting ready to start our second cohort in January. And so to have the pathway from CNA to LPN to RN to BSN and have it complete goes back to what we talked about before, that complete path. You can start with nothing and get every step to your completion. Right. And just wanted to, also congratulate NARDA Class 57. We had the NARDA graduation on Thursday, the 12th. The paramedic graduation, Class 17, followed that on the same day. One of my directors came up to me and said, we just graduated a large number of students, whether it be from the police academy or from EMS, that is going into public service in our community right now. And that was a huge statement to make. Absolutely. All in one day.
Let me pause you for a second and kind of back up just a tad here. Spell out NARDA, because I don't think most people know what that is and what this program is. Because this is another thing that I have to be frank with you. I've been working with Yavapai College for a year, and maybe a few months ago kind of learned about NARDA and how important it is, the work that you guys are doing in this area. Tell us a little bit more about this, because I don't think the community knows and realizes the amount of work that goes into the training and who we're training.
Yeah. So NARDA, in short, is the Northern Arizona Regional Training Academy. It's the police academy where for 21 weeks, we have a group of students from all over the state, really. Anybody can come from anywhere, from any law enforcement agency. We graduated this time 24 students across 9 agencies. So Yavapai County Sheriff's Office, Prescott Valley Police Department, Prescott Police Department, Chino Valley Police Department. They all had graduates in this training academy. And so excellent recruits that went through.
And these graduates are going right into the workforce, right? They already have placement in the police force here in Prescott, Chino, like you said, Prescott Valley, some other areas of the state.
Yep. Yes, sir. We even had people from Oro Valley graduate from this academy down south. So, yes, they're fully vetted, fully trained. They're pinned by their families, and they're sworn in by a judge on the stage on graduation, and can start work, ready to go in whatever capacity for whatever agency.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Another area that I want you to spell out a little bit and just give us a little bit more of a deeper look into who we're graduating, what the specialties are. When we talk about allied health, right? Allied health. Okay, let's break it down a little bit, because there's a lot of professionals that we're training and graduating from our programs that are going to be right into the workforce. What are these programs that we're talking about under allied health?
Okay, so in our allied health programs, we have medical assisting, we have CNA, we have the LPN, we have behavioral health technician, we have medical records, medical office, we have phlebotomy. It's all of those kind of entry level medical professions that are that lead into or have a pathway to grow from there. And a lot of these allied health programs, the students can take them in high school, whether it's dual enrollment or through the MIC TEDs, or they can come to us directly, and they have the ability to go to work and have a living wage in the medical field, and see does this fit. And a lot of them are stackable. The students that might declare medical assisting, for example, have phlebotomy embedded inside of it. So you learn your phlebotomy skills, you learn your medical assisting skills, and if you do the internship for both, you have 2 certifications when you come out 28 credits later. It's not, and we're looking right now with working with the Northern Arizona Good Jobs Network on, making that MA program a 9-month, 2-semester accelerated program. But more to come on that.
Very cool. Yeah, and this is, by the way, like the vast amount of people that are working and staffing all the medical offices in buildings, the hospitals. And so we're not talking about half a dozen of people graduating through these programs. These are the future, the current staff members that are kind of populating all these offices right now, right?
Right. And then on the other side, I would be remiss if I didn't say that, because I mentioned NARDA, I mentioned paramedicine, I mentioned nursing graduations, but also on Saturday, we just graduated our fire academy.
Oh my goodness.
And the Yavapai College Fire Academy graduated 18 from the academy. The cadets had their ceremony on Saturday afternoon. And it was a great time, and a lot of our fire agency partners are very excited about that group of students. So there's some overlap there between the EMT courses that are offered in our EMS department and the fire academy. On the public services side, they get their EMT, they go to the fire academy, and they go out and they're instantly employable. And filling some of the holes that our fire agency partners have as well. So yeah, across the board, we're all about workforce and getting people good jobs, meaningful jobs that service our community. I'm very happy to be living here and having the opportunity to direct that training and that education, because, they're the ones going to be taking care of me.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate it, Jason. Thank you for all the info. Oh, yeah. No, there's one more thing that I think we left behind here. Want to bring it up?
Yeah, the ROTC program.
There you go.
The Air Force ROTC program. We have a nursing student that's going through our program that has also part of our crosstown agreement with Embry-Riddle and the Air Force ROTC program, Detachment 28. And so while taking nursing classes, this student is also taking the ROTC classes, and he's successfully completed the first half of his 100 and 200 series courses. He's on track, and we're excited to be offering those for students that would consider a military officer career path. And so any of our bachelor's degrees, but primarily right now, because it's super critical everywhere. It's critical in our community. It's critical in our state, but it's critical for our military forces as well as nursing. And so anybody that's interested in the Air Force as an option to commission in as a second lieutenant, we have a student that's going through the program right now, and I can put you in touch with Major Joshua Acosta, who's the recruiting officer for Detachment 28, and we can get you taken care of as far as potential commissioning as an Air Force officer as well. So these are incredible. All the wonderful things that YC thinks outside of the box on,
right? And
partners across the board, even with other educational institutions, to provide our students every opportunity that they would get anywhere else, whether that be a university or another community college. We are head and shoulders above in the state because of all of the initiatives that we take seriously and want to provide for our students.
So if I'm a student at Yavapai College, I'm enrolled and I want to know more about all these connections, all these opportunities to complement my education or to connect me with a pathway, like a military pathway. Who do I talk to? Who these students should be asking these questions to find out what other opportunities there are, right? Even with employment, like if, for example, I'm about to graduate, I want to know if I can kind of get connected with the marketplace to see if I can be placed in a company to work for. Because I know we offer all of this. This is probably like the REDC is kind of right there, on that end. But if I'm a student, again, and I'm interested in, let's say, the military connection there, who do I talk to? Who is my conductor to this?
Well, I would say that there's a lot of teams at Yavapai College that are intertwined in axillary roles, but are vitally important to all of our programs on the academic side. And you mentioned one in the REDC. They help with placement and opportunity with businesses and workforce, and possibly going out and doing your own. We have our academic advising team and our retention advisors that can speak to a lot of these things. They're brought into a lot of these meetings. But if you also, our team, our marketing team, you and everybody that's puts together the websites, if they go to any of our BSN pages and scroll down to the bottom, additional resources, there's been an ROTC tab added to every website.
Very cool.
And inside there, they can read a little bit about the Air Force ROTC. My contact information is in there. Major Acosta's contact information is in there, so they can come to me at the college, or they can touch base with me over the phone, or see Major Acosta at Embry-Riddle. But Major Acosta comes to a lot of our events. He was just at our nursing orientation yesterday to speak to our students. And so there's quite a few avenues for that. And I would take advantage of not self-advising, but go to an advisor, and they can point you to the right person and the right team. But under Dr. Mercado, in divisions 1 and 2, we have a great group of directors and associate deans and AVPs that are always open to any student that has any question. So you can look us up on the directory. We have an open door. We love to talk to you about all of our programs.
Jason, very cool. Did we leave anything out?
No,
that was quite a list, my friend. That is quite a list, and I'm impressed that you came organized and you have all these departments at the top of your tongue here. So this is awesome.
Yeah, it's the best job I've ever had.
That's good to hear. Yeah. Well, I've been asking this question here to most of the guests, at least, and I know that someone mentioned to me that they're tallying all this information, and eventually the idea is that we're going to put this up on a billboard somewhere. So here's the question I ask all my guests. If you could put a billboard anywhere on campus with anything on it, what would it say and why?
I would put a billboard up that said, Yavapai College is the place to start and finish whatever journey that you can imagine.
I love it. I'm just going to leave it at that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Any final thoughts? Anything else you want to leave us with before we close this?
No, I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity for coming and speaking with you this morning.
Absolutely, Jason. It's been a pleasure talking to you, getting to know you better. And we definitely need to kind of have you back to kind of cover a lot of updates and things that are probably going to happen in the next year, and so thank you again. I'll have you back for sure.
All right.
I appreciate everything you've done for us.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning in to the YC&YOU podcast. We hope you enjoyed our conversation today. Don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got someone in mind for our next chat? Reach out and let us know. Until next time, keep exploring, and we'll see you next week.